Hi, this is our WUD Games December Days event. This is where every day in the month of December, we'll be uploading a different video of a committee member talking about some of their favorite games. Maybe they're games that fit perfectly into our game nights or exhibition nights, and maybe they're games that absolutely do not. It's kind of up in the air, and it's just people talking about games they really like. So this is our first time running the event, so here are just some quick guidelines. Try and keep your video talking about your game under 5 minutes. I'll be giving an example of two different games later in this, just so you have kind of some different ideas on how to present them. Please keep games that you're talking about to games that we can actually recommend. So we can't talk about pirated games or ROM hacks or stuff like that, which kind of come from as much as they may be games, they're not games that we can necessarily endorse. There's no specific criteria for games that you can recommend. So talk about video games, board games, tabletop RPGs. Heck, if you really want to talk about badminton for 5 minutes, you could talk about badminton for 5 minutes and, have fun with it. This is a game where you're talking about a game you really love that you think everyone should know about. Just as a quick introduction, this is kind of going to be the start of my presentation, my pseudo presentation, because this is more of an example and won't be as official as some of the other ones or the ones that we'll be uploading later. But it's my introduction slide. Just real quick, who I am. My name's Grayson, AC him pronouns, junior in industrial engineering here at UW. All my favorite games are basically deck builders or roguelites. As you can see, I just got some screenshots of Google images of deck building board games and deck building video games. I'm also just a big fan of indie games in general and games that specifically just have soundtracks that go absolutely crazy. So now for my kind of game pitch for the day. This is Filament. Filament is a puzzle game where you control a little robot running around with little strings and light. And you light up these pillars, and eventually you find a way which perfectly paths the robots so they light up all the pillars, and you get to escape the level and complete it. It's a very simple puzzle game. It's very chill. It's got a very nice aesthetic. This is kind of the menu, I guess. You're exploring the ship, you're learning about the story of this character Juniper, and what happens to her crew and the ship she's on, while you're going through all these puzzles where you're controlling these little robots, just walking around lighting up pillars. So, it's a puzzle game. It's just all lights and string. As I mentioned earlier, I really like games with good soundtracks, and this has one. This has a lovely, very low-key space soundtrack aesthetic. And then the game itself is aesthetically pleasing. It's just kind of very simple, very, very elegant. Watching the pillars light up just makes the monkey brain go, ooh. So yeah, that's an example of a first pitch. Then this is a second pitch for game Nidavellir. This is a board game, unlike the last one, which is a video game. So this board game is all about dwarven betting. You're basically just trying to get as many rows of dwarven soldiers to run your civilization as possible. And to kind of end up winning and beating out your opponents. So you're doing this by scoring coins, recruiting dwarves from taverns. As you can see here, there's the Goblin Tavern, the Dragon Tavern, the Horse Tavern. There's all these hero dwarves. As the bottom is an example of, kind of people who've taken dwarves already and set them up in their control. That's how this game works. It plays between 2 to 5 players. So it's a betting game. It's got a bunch of great flavor. There's a whole bunch of different strategies you can execute in the game, different ways to play it, different, strategies of types of dwarves you can recruit. There's so many different elements to the game that all add up to one really fun game. And as you can see here in the picture, it's one of the games that when we went to Gamers Library in November, we were able to try this game out, and a lot of our committee members here really, really enjoyed playing this game. They played a few rounds of it, and it was a great time. And that's it. I mean, that's the whole presentation. It's just talking about a game real fast and being like, hey, you might like this game. And by you, I mean just people in the WUD Games committee, people just watching these videos. And this will be happening, getting uploaded every day in December. There'll be a Google form in which you'll submit it. I will review these videos just to make sure, they're perfectly fine. I'll reach out to you just to confirm, and then I will upload them every day in December. All right, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoy December days.